Hey everybody out there in the Dark Avenger universe, welcome back to another Dark Avenger comic book review. We are 31 episodes away from 200.
Yep.
2 more episodes and we're out of the 30s.
Yeah.
And that's that. So let's see, any news to talk about before we get into this week's comic books? Did anything happen this week in comic books? Not really much happened, I would say.
Not really.
So, comic books this week were released on January 23rd, 2013. Unfortunately, no indie books this week, even though it was mentioned that the Turtles book was supposed to come out this week. I've read it, but I don't have a physical copy yet, so probably it'll come out the first week of February or something, because it wasn't on Midtown at least. So there are no indie books this week. But we have the big two. We got big stuff that came out of both companies this week. We got 2 #1s. The Rise of the Third Army is in its Pendulum set. Next week is the climactic conclusion, and then lead into, of course, the Wrath of the First Lantern. And we got a bunch of stuff, so let's get started.
Yep.
First this week, Nightwing issue number 16, continuing Death in the Family. Last time, Nightwing was on his way to Amusement Mile. Why? Because the Joker's there. And throughout this entire issue, it's Dick at Amusement Mile. And I'm starting to wonder now if the Joker does know who the Bat family, their real identities. Because he plays Dick very well, especially at this one part where he resurrects everybody in Haley's circus. And he leaves the, he says something about, what was it? He was talking about digging up the bodies, and he's like, but it's not like I hung bones from the trapeze. That'd be crazy. And that's where Dick gets pissed off, and it's Dick chasing after the Joker. And, of course, it's kind of like Batman and Robin, where Damian was fighting and Dick was fighting, but at the same time, it just didn't happen.
Amazing. I'll give it that.
And there's a spoiler alert here. Joker finds the people from Haley's circus and Jokerizes them, so to speak. And then we get the exact same ending, and this has been spoiled everywhere. I've seen it on many sites already. We get the exact same ending that was in Batgirl, I believe, Batman and Robin, and Batman, the actual title Batman. So, this is a bit more, I'm getting nervous. The more I see this serving plate, and now there's the blood, I just have a feeling. I know what's in that. I could swear I know what's in there, but at the same time, I don't want to believe it. So I'm kind of like, okay, it could be, but it might not be. But it's probably
just
is.
Like going like this, sort of.
I don't know. It's like I don't want it to be. I don't know. We won't. So this is the thing. I want to know now, and we're not going to find out until next month.
Well, that's a good way to keep everyone waiting.
I'm on the edge of my seat. Literally on the edge of my seat. This is a really good book. I'm enjoying Nightwing. I've been enjoying Nightwing since its relaunch. However, did it need a relaunch? Obviously, once again, this is one of those books that really wasn't touched except for the colors on Nightwing's uniform and a few changes here and there. Still continuing forward in the status. I don't know. Anyway, it's really good. 3 of the last books this week from DC are all connected except for the third one, but we'll start with these two. These two are connected because there's one right after the other. We got all 3 Green Lantern books this week. Green Lantern and Green Lantern Corps. We're going to start with Green Lantern because Green Lantern happened first. Simon Baz is finally innocent. And I can't pronounce the name of the squirrel Green Lantern. It's Bedig. B''DG. Bedig. So he takes Simon to find the Green Lantern, and he also finds, and this is the first time Simon Baz actually says the Green Lantern oath, and also they find the Book of Black, and that's what's going to lead them to the Black Hand. And then Simon deciphers the message. It was a double message, so basically throughout this whole issue, Bedig is But Badig, I'm gonna call him Badig. I'm probably wrong, but it's Badig for now. The Squirrel Green Lantern's
We
Badig.
call him B. So that way the D.
Anyway, he teaches him throughout the whole issue how to use his ring, and he's explained to him how to decipher the messages. And Simon Boz listens to them one at a time. And Hal's like, if you're seeing this message, I'm hoping you're a guy or gal after my own heart. And he's explaining how the Guardians have gone cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, what they've done, and that if anything, to find the Green Lantern Corps and to stop them, and if he died, if Hal Jordan is dead, to tell Carol that he loves her. And that's it. And then we get Sinestro's message, where Sinestro is saying, find Acrillo. He works for me, and I will find him. Acrillo will help me, and I will finally destroy the Guardians. So he thinks that Acrillo is gonna save him from wherever he is. So before Simon leaves to go help the Green Lantern Corps and everybody else, there's one thing he wants to do first, because Badig at first says, when we find Hal Jordan and Sinestro, you're going to give Hal back the ring, which I believe is not going to be the case. I think Hal's going to get a completely new ring. Should Hal Jordan end up back in the Green Lantern Corps, first of all. But before that, Simon visits the person whom he put in a coma a while back, his best friend and his sister's husband. And Simon tries to use his Green Lantern ring to bring him back, bring him out of the coma. And Badig is saying the Lantern ring does have limitations. It can't raise the dead or cure any ill. And Simon's just pushing and pushing. He pushes his will and the ring to its max capacity. And at first he believes it doesn't work. And then out of nowhere, he's awake. And even Badig said that's impossible. He's like, I was wrong about you. Where was it? Maybe the ring did choose you for a greater purpose. And then they find out about, this leads into Green Lantern Corps. At this page they find out that Guy Gardner is in jail. They see a televised program on TV. And this is where Simon Boz takes off, to be continued in Green Lantern Corps. But we do go into the dead zone, so to speak. And it turns out the hooded man from the last issue was Tomar-Re. And Tomar-Re says that you have to stop Voltum. These are names that are so ridiculous. Before and we must halt we must halt the first Lantern's plans before he unravels reality and changes Lantern history as we know it, and the dead demand it. So, and it says here, follow Simon and Green Lantern Corps. We'll get to that in a second. And then Green Lantern Corps Annual #1, and back here again for Wrath of the First Lantern, the first part. So that was this one, and this was really good. I'm getting into Simon Boz. I'm liking it more. I'm more intrigued in the character now. And at some point, we all know that Hal Jordan's just going to take over the mantle, or Sinestro, whoever is going to come back into this, and Simon Boz is going to go into Justice League of America. But for right now, finally the Third Army has picked up. Now you're going to notice there was a lack of Third Army. This was all Simon Boz. Yes, but what makes up for it is Green Lantern Corps. And in Green Lantern Corps, it continues right after Green Lantern. On Earth, it starts off with the Third Army all over Earth, assimilating more and more people, and Guy Gardner is in jail. And he gets a visit from his sister and his brother, who are trying to find a way to break him out, and he's on a pity trip. She's like, even she gets mad. She's like, stop it. When did you start this whole woe is me pity trip? He's like, since now. And then the Third Army strikes, and the Guardians actually want the Third Army to assimilate Guy Gardner into their ranks. And basically, Guy gets released by the officer that was holding him, and basically him and his sister and everybody are going to fight. But then we jump to John Stewart for a bit, and I have a feeling this is all pieces that are going to come together and help, stop the Guardians. Mogo, his the pieces of Mogo are crying out to be reunited at the core, and this is John Stewart's job, was to bring it back, and John Stewart ends up saving the pieces. I'm not going to say how the pieces were being used, but they were used. They were in a ship to do really bad things. Read the book, you'll know exactly what. But long story short, there is mention of the New Guardians in here. New Guardians we'll get to next. But the pieces of Mogo are free, and now they're looking to come back together. And this is the part where Fatality tells John Stewart what's been going on about Gantha and everything. He's like, if they assimilated Gantha, Gantha knew that the Guardians knew Gantha was going to stand in their way, and they had to stop that. And a part of it was sending me to find Mogo, and she's like, us. We then jump back to Earth, where it's Guy Gardner and his family versus the Third Army. Enter Simon Baz and Badig. So now it's back to where the last issue left off. And Simon is helping Guy. Guy wants them to get all the innocent people out of there, especially his family. They send them away. Guy sends Simon on a quick pickup to pick up some missiles from the Maryland Air National Guard. And they basically blow the hell out of the Third Army. So basically all the Third Army on Earth, as far as we know, is gone. They take off to get away, and they stop off at the moon, where Guy Gardner's caught up to speed a bit about Simon Baz and everything, and that's where Badig says for Simon to play Guy the message, and that's where it ends. It ends with Guy seeing the message from Hal and Sinestro. What?
No, I'm saying, so to better understand this book, would they have to pick up Green Lantern?
No.
Or?
You wouldn't have to pick up Green Lantern to understand what's happening in this book, because he's just guest starring. However, this book and this book basically are connected this time. This book ends right where this book takes off, and then this book is going to end where the Green Lantern Corps Annual takes off next week. Also, not to forget, guys, there is Red Lanterns issue number 16 coming out next week. But I have a feeling because it's coming out the same week as Green Lantern Corps Annual, it's not going to have any direct... It's going to have a direct connection, but at the same time, not an exact direct connection to what happens in the Green Lantern Corps. So, once again, you don't need the Red Lantern book. But, however, the last part for the Rise of the Third Army is going to be in the Red Lantern book next week as well. This book, however, I like the most, and that's Green Lantern New Guardians issue 16. Not connected to what's going on in Green Lantern Corps and Green Lantern. As a matter of fact, I don't know if I should have reviewed this book first and then those, or if this was actually supposed to be last. So basically, Kyle is trying to learn about how the the Star Sapphire part of the spectrum works, and it starts off actually with a memory, and it's of his girlfriend, and it's of Gantha back before they brainwashed Gantha, and then it goes into the present where actually, for those of you whom I said you wasted your money if you bought the Green Lantern New Guardians Annual, apparently if you didn't buy the annual, you wouldn't know how this came about, where it's Star Sapphire, Krillo, and Saint Walker coming towards the Star Sapphire homeworld in a truck, but then again, you do end up, that's basically the only time they mention it. Then, it turns out that Gantha is on, I want to say the name right, so it's right at the front. Next page, maybe? Yeah, Zamaron. I was right. Gantha is on Zamaron, and the final conflict between Gantha and Kyle begins. The battle between Gantha and Kyle. Kyle has every single power in the spectrum, save, of course, the Star Sapphire, because he wasn't done training under his control. So he throws everything at him, from the Yellow Lantern Corps to the Indigo Tribe to the Red Lantern. and he's not faring too well. But then enter the Zamaranians. Turns out, here's a spoiler for you guys, and Gantha saw it coming, and so did the other Guardians. The Star Sapphires, the ones I said the Zamaranians were taking the Guardian side, and they were going to work with the Guardians. Yeah, that was a lie. They turned on, they betrayed the Green Lantern Guardians and called them nuts. And they think that Kyle Rayner is somebody that's, he's proven too important to be lost. It's a shame without, what do you call it? She calls the Guardians mad, basically. And they actually go after Gantha as well, and Kyle's fighting Gantha. The artwork, actually, for some reason, it's the same, but it looks different, and I don't know, for me, I know it's the same art, but at the same time, it looks a little bit, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I'm enjoying the artwork in this book a bit more. Maybe it's because I got used to it. But the Third Army attacks then, and it's Kyle and the Zamaranians, and then Carol, Saint Walker, and Acrillo show up. And it's just one humongous fight, and they go after Gantha, and Kyle actually stops them and says, "No, I won't give up on Gantha. You know, we're gonna find a way." And then, spoiler alert, he gets killed. But well, not killed. He gets shot by Gantha, and Gantha believes he's won. And that's where Kyle harnesses the final light in the spectrum, which is the Star Sapphire. And for those of you that think when Kyle harnesses all the powers, he's going to turn into the full construct lantern again, like all the way in the beginning of the Green Lantern New Guardians, I was surprised to see what happens when... I was surprised to see this page, but apparently when Kyle harnessed the final piece of the light spectrum, we were all worried that Kyle was going to have to learn the white and black and how that was going to happen. It turns out when he mastered the last of the lantern cores, he doesn't even need black. He's become a white lantern.
That should be a poster, actually.
And Kyle is able to, literally, he just picks his hand up and erases all the Third Army. He just takes them out in one blow, and Gantha runs off, petrified. So apparently, his ring became a tomb. We all knew that Kyle was the one. Since the beginning, he was given the ring by Gantha back in the 90s, our 90s, I don't know what year it is there, but he was special, and I had a feeling that something like this was going to happen, but I didn't expect him to become the next White Lantern. But apparently because he learned all the spectrums, and I love this, I don't know why, but I actually like this splash page a lot, and I agree with you, it should be. If this was a poster, I would absolutely, positively, without hesitation, buy it.
The words. Well, with the words, really, because it
says it doesn't matter, yeah.
It says what.
So apparently learning all the powers of the spectrum turns you into a White Lantern, and that's what Kyle became, a White Lantern. And for some reason, he knows that him being a White Lantern now changes everything, and they're taking the fight to Oa, to be continued in Green Lantern Corps Annual #1, and then next month, or after the first Lantern goes through Green Lantern New Guardians. So, does this mean Kyle is no longer ever going to be a Green Lantern again? I have no idea. To be honest with you guys, I think it would be more interesting to see Kyle stay as a White Lantern, no longer be a Green Lantern. He is... I always said, back in the brightest day, I didn't say it on camera, but off camera, I always said the one Lantern that would have honestly deserved to be a White Lantern, it never should have been Hal Jordan, because Hal Jordan is just, he's just green. He's the Green Lantern, period. He is pure will. But when it comes to Kyle, he has a little bit of everything in him, and he deserved it. And actually, this book completely caught my brain pattern, and they did absolutely what should have been done. So Kyle is now the sole White Lantern, and what happens next, we'll find out next week. But it's really awesome, and this book absolutely picked up. This issue made the whole series worth it. So Kyle is now the next White Lantern, and at least we won't have to worry about him having to harness the power of the Black Lantern.
Oh God, no.
It's about part of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Apparently white and black aren't part of the spectrum, by the way, guys. I found this out last week. The white and black are just there, but the spectrum was all the other colors except. So apparently when you harness the spectrum, you harness white, which is the White Lantern Corps. I have no idea. I guess you gotta die to get the Black Lantern Corps. So we're going into Marvel now for the rest of this review. Mike, yours is first.
Yep. A+X, issue number 4, which has the teams up of Spider-Man and Beast, and the second story of Captain America and Quentin Quire.
Yes.
Okay. Because I forgot the name when I did the in-depth review. But this was kind of not much of a disappointment in the first one. The first one, I wasn't too much of the artwork, really. I mean, it wasn't that bad. Like, it was here and there. But basically it shows where they're infested with these zombies, and they meet with Queen Talia, where she thinks that Beast is McCoy, the origin maker. Spider-Man meets up with a monster, so to say, and it's just a fight scene where Beast doesn't like what's going on, and he helps out Spider-Man throughout the whole thing, and they talk scientists of stuff like that, and basically that's how it ends, where he goes back to his time and not their time, where he's just one of a kind. So I thought the first one was good. He didn't really like the story team up, but I thought it was good.
I'm not really into this. This is like I said, this is going to be the last issue I get for a while.
Yeah. And shows examples. We don't say.
Yeah, but I gotta make cuts.
No, I agree. I'm just saying to them, we don't think the same. We have different
I'm just saying
stuff.
that this is a team-up book. If you're not interested in the teams, you won't pick it up, and the next book just doesn't interest me.
Yeah, this one really didn't catch me of Captain America and Quentin Quire. I really don't like Quentin Quire. Now I know why you don't, actually, because
I hate Kate Kilgore.
He just thinks that he's this big guy, like he's so tough and everything, and Captain America just comes in and takes out the MODOKs, all the MOGODs, stuff like that. I like how they do the shield in the background. I thought that was pretty cool. But basically, he just said, can't believe I teamed up with you, but yeah, and that was the end. And next one, the next issue is gonna be Goop teaming up with Dupe teaming up with Iron Fist, and yeah.
Not interested.
So really, guys, it wasn't really. I mean, I was a little bit disappointed with this issue, but the second story arc and the
so
first.
Disappointed you couldn't get it back in the bag, huh?
Yeah, but up to you guys if you want to pick it up if you've been collecting it, but I'm not gonna get the 5th issue, so yeah.
It's the end for me. Another book that I don't know if I'm coming back. Final issue for Ed Brubaker, Winter Soldier, issue number 14. This is where the series, by the way, was supposed to end, but because of the movie coming out, Captain America, Winter Soldier, apparently the book is going to keep going with a new team complete. So Bucky's on his way to saving Natasha, aka Black Widow, and they determine there are 3 locations where Natasha and why do I forget this guy's name all the time? Leo are going to strike. Of course, Bucky's the one that finds the right place, and Cap tells him to wait for them to show up. Bucky doesn't listen. Bucky's working on complete, he's just jumping in headstrong, and most of the book, it's not that much dialogue. It's a lot of the fight. This is the fight between Bucky and Leo and him trying to save Black Widow. In the end, Bucky is left with, how do I explain this? He's kind of stalemated because Leo uses Natasha as a meat shield, so to speak. But Hawkeye shows up, saves the day, and they try to... Leo goes to jail, of course, and something else happens to Leo, but he survives, unfortunately. And they try to fix Black Widow. There's one problem, though. They're able to bring all the connections in her brain back together except one part that was permanently severed. All of her memories of Bucky. And in the end, Bucky says, you know what, no, just stop. Her head's been messed with enough. Every time she's around me, she nearly gets killed anyway. She's better off without me. and he just walks off. He's like, I try to imagine my life without her, and all I see is pain and heartbreak, but at least I'll be the only one feeling it. And I take solace in that thought and hold on to it for as long as I can. But it won't be long enough. The end. So, next issue is new team of Jason Latour and Nick Clean. A whole new world for Bucky Barnes, and the pain is just beginning. So, for those of you interested. Personally, I like the Ed Brubaker run. This was supposed to end with this issue. If I have the extra money for the week when it comes out, depending on Marvel Now, DC, and everything else going on, if I have the money for the next book, I will absolutely check it out. If not, I'll probably just let it slide off because this is where it was supposed to end with Ed Brubaker anyway. Now it explains why her and Hawkeye have the hookup moments and stuff like that in Secret Avengers. I feel horrible for Bucky. It's sad what happened, and in a way I kind of figured that was what was going to happen. But in the end, Bucky and Black Widow separate completely, and Black Widow has no memory of Bucky whatsoever. So Leo, even though he lost, he won. The bad guy still kind of won, even though he didn't fully win. He won, in a way. He won a battle. He may not have won the war, but he won a battle. And he hurt Bucky. He got Bucky right in the heart. This was a WoW series from issue 1 all the way to 14. I only thought about dropping the series once, and I came right back to it. Glad I did.
That's when they were searching for Black Widow, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the end.
Yeah.
This was the end. Will I come back for the next issue? Like I said, depends on money and what books I'm getting that week. If it's an okay week and I have the extra money for it, I'll give the next issue a shot. But if I don't, I won't be so upset that I let Winter Soldier go because Brubaker, like I said, this is his last one anyway. And we have a minute left. I don't believe we're going to have time to go into the rest of the books. We are actually at the halfway, literally. We're halfway through the books. So come back in the next part where we'll probably end up ending. So this will probably be a 2-part week. Thank you God. Maybe for the first time ever, it's only going to be a 2-part week. Guys, see you guys real soon in the next part. So yeah, see you guys there. It's only, what, 5 in the morning almost? We are late people. We got to stop this, Mike.
Yes, we do.
Nah, we'll probably never stop it. See you guys in the next part.